Wonderful. Welcome, everyone. Um, it is April 2024, and my name is Missy Shipman. I'm with Missy's Glad Heart Studio, and I'm delighted to partner tonight again with Julia at the Baldwinsville Public Library to bring to you a card making and rubber stamping workshop. It's so much fun to gather virtually. And if you're interested in getting together in person, we do also offer a class at the Baldwinsville Public Library on the second Friday of each month, and that will be tomorrow morning at 10. And we do a Let's Kit together. So you get a box of goodies. It has a stamp set, the block, the ink, and the supplies to make 6 to 10 cards, depending on the kit you choose. You have lots of choices. And it's a lot of fun. It's a good time to meet new friends who are interested in crafting. You can be brand new to stamping and card making, or you can be a veteran. You're welcome to take part. We've been doing the virtual classes now since October of 2020, I believe. So we have a wonderful library of videos on the YouTube channel, the Baldwinsville Public Library, New York YouTube channel. So if you are inspired to go and see some more designs, you can visit that YouTube channel. And there might be a particular class you're interested in. We do have some of the kits available. Julia has them at the library. So there might be one you're like, oh, I really would love to make that card for a special wedding or birthday or celebration. Then check in with us. Tonight we'll be making 3 projects. I'm going a little a little rogue tonight in that some of your supplies are not cut for you. They're all scored and ready, and I'll explain about that. But to make this beautiful pop-up card that we're going to be making tonight, this twist and pop card, you'll need to do a little bit of cutting for our layering pieces. So you'll want to have a paper trimmer, and if you don't have a paper trimmer, you'll want to have a ruler and some scissors so that you can trim your project. Another reminder is that I do move along pretty quickly so that we have a chance within our hour to share the projects with you. So the recording will be available tomorrow on the YouTube channel, and you can always go back to the Facebook page and right after our class tonight, and that will be stay on the Facebook page so you can watch it there. That way you can pause, rewind, replay if you have any questions about our dimensions and things. Okay, but we're going to start off with a little show and tell of our new in colors. So in your kit, you have a packet that looks like this, some Christmas trees, Christmas in April. And we're going to be making a bookmark with this, but this is to show off our new in colors. Last month, we made a cool card with a teapot, tea-themed bookmark, and that featured the in colors that are going to retire in just a few weeks. These are some samples of those colors. They're not quite primary, but they're bold. I call them Sesame Street colors. There's a lot of fun energy in the colors. There's Sweet Sorbet and Parakeet Party and Orchid Oasis and Starry Sky and Tranquil Tide. So they're beautiful, sort of Caribbean bright colors. And we'll say farewell to them at the end of April or while supplies last. But you'll see I'll still have some of those within our kits probably in the coming months. I have some really special papers that even though they're retired from our catalog, I love to be able to share them with you at the library. But the new 5 colors that will debut on May 1st for customers with Stampin' Up! Are these beautiful colors that reminded me of ice cream sherbet. So I've made, using an ice cream punch, I've made some scoops for you to assemble. The colors are really lovely. They are pretty and pink, which is actually a returning color. Stampin' Up! Has 4 color families and with 10 colors in each family. And then these in colors are an additional to the collection, and they last for 2 years. So this is just starting in 2024. We'll have them through 2026. So it's pretty and pink, and then Petunia Pop. You'll have to share in the comments if you have a favorite of these. Then we've got Summer Splash, Peach Pie. We have 3 pies in the Stampin' Up! Color family: Pecan Pie, Pumpkin Pie, and now Peach Pie. And then Shy Shamrock. I love this beautiful green. So for this project, it's very simple. You're going to take out that piece of paper. This is actually another new color. Stampin' Up! Introduced a neutral this year that's called Basic Beige, and it's just a really light neutral color that you can pair with so many things. So inside here are the 5 scoops, and we can use some adhesive to put them together. But you'll notice my little cone, I added some texture by using a marker. You could use a pencil or a marker to make it look more like a waffle sugar cone. So to do that, I just have my the bullet end of the marker, and I'm not going to worry about super straight lines. I'm just going to draw some diagonal parallel lines here in one direction, and then in an opposite direction, so that they look a little bit, gives that cone some texture, like a waffle cone or a sugar cone. I love waffle cones. If a place that I go to doesn't have waffle cone, then I prefer sugar cone over cake cone. But really, any cone with ice cream, I will say yes, please. I love summer ice cream year round, especially in the summer, but definitely year round. So then I'm going to take some of my adhesive. This is our Tombow multi-purpose adhesive. And I'll just, a little goes a long way, dot, 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 not a lot, or kind of a thin thread of glue. Now place that near the bottom. And then you can put your scoops in any order that you like. There's no real rhyme or reason to how I did it, although I am going to do it the same there because I like the way it came out. This punch is fun. It also can look like little teddy bear heads with the ears. It's kind of a fun punch. So maybe you'll make your card into teddy bears with a hat that could be like a party hat. The triangle shape makes a party hat for the bears.
Talk about double dipping.
Good
dual use.
one. Good one. So I'm just making like a little thread spiral of the glue on here. And I'm very partial to greens. Green is probably my most favorite color. So I do love the Shy Shamrock, but I'm also very much enjoying this Petunia Pop color, this beautiful purpley color. It's
fuchsia.
It's a kind of a dull fuchsia. Yep, it's not super bright, but it's got a lot of those elements in it. And so here now I just have that simple cone, and I'm going to teach you what I call the bookmark topper with a ribbon. And what you'll do is take your ribbon and fold it in half. And then the loop end, we're going to insert through the hole from the front to the back. So we have a loop here behind, and then we'll take those tails and put them through the loop and then gently wiggle it, gently nudge it. You don't want to tear the cardstock. It's pretty sturdy. It's stronger than like a copy paper or a designer paper, but you don't want to be too aggressive in pulling that. And then that just makes a nice flat part there. So I didn't pop these up with dimensionals, even though I love dimensionals, because I wanted it to just be a flat bookmark so you'd use it. You'll put it in your book or your notebooks, whatever you like to keep a page on. Julia, are you reading anything fun these days? What's something you've got?
Yeah, I'm reading. I'm trying to remember the name of the thing.
I'm the same way. I can usually describe the cover pretty well, but I often forget the title of a book.
This one has a boring cover, though. I do have a question about the ribbons, though. I noticed on the pink one, you see how it's frayed a little on the top?
Yes.
Is there something we can do about that?
Some people actually use a lighter to burn the edges of ribbon. And that will, if the ribbon has like a polyester content, it can, it'll like make a burnt edge, then it won't fray. This is a cotton ribbon, and I don't know of a real trick. Like here, because it's frayed, and if I was going to give this to someone, before I give it to them, I would probably trim it here so that at least it looked neat when I first received it. But most likely it will fray some. People might stitch it. That would be a lot of work.
I think you can dip it in
wax.
Candle wax.
That's another great idea. Yes, and that wouldn't worry. Like I wouldn't suggest a flame on this ribbon because it's a cotton ribbon. I know that's a trick for some ribbons that are like a acrylic or like a polyester. Great question. I tend to just try to trim them up. And know that as it gets loved, it may show some wear, but that's because we're handling it and using it. So I hope you'll put your marvelous scoops of the in colors to use in your reading this month. Okay, next let's work on this hello card. And this one has some nice foiling. You'll see there's some shiny copper foiling. And then the ribbon we're using, talk about frayed, it's kind of frayed intentionally here. This twine is a copper twine that has a lot of little threads. It reminds me almost of wiring. You know how coated wires have that. It looks very metallic or very electrical to me. So that is in an envelope like this. And you have the card base. And this is from a kit, so the color doesn't go all the way through. It's actually just printed for this outside piece. And that makes it really easy to write your message or to stamp a greeting or some of your images. I'm not doing stamping this evening. All of our pieces are pre-printed tonight. But if you borrowed some stamps from the library and want to just explore some techniques or trying them out, the inside of your card would be a great palette for that. Or also your envelope, which in this case is just a clean white envelope inside and out. So it's a canvas for you to create with. Now we'll take our stripey piece that has this pretty coral color and a pinky color and those copper stripes. And we can adhere, you can sort of see the sparkle on there. We're going to use our adhesive again to adhere this. And my glue is pretty new, so sometimes the tendency is to have it come out too quickly. And I'll remind you that this glue is strong, and you don't need a whole lot, not a lot, or a thin thread. Or you might be using a tape runner or something like that, or a double-sided tape to adhere your project. You want to put your adhesive always on the piece that you're adding, not the piece that's the base, because if I put it on my base, then the glue might show around the edge or smush out. So that's why we put it on the piece that we're adding. And then before we put the pink piece on, let's go ahead and do these stickers. These are going to just peel. It's like a little piece of lace or scallop. You'll peel that off. And that's going to go at the top and at the bottom of the pink, sort of a peachy pink, pale pink color. It's called petal pink. There we are. And then you've got the other piece to peel off. Now here you have a kind of a bonus leftover piece that you could use as a trim for something. We'll just set that aside. We've talked other months about the value of having a shoebox or a mug or a Tupperware bin where you can kind of put your odds and ends. So when you have a little bit left from a project, you can add it to that. And that will be a surprise jar for when you need a button or a piece of ribbon or a little extra sticker piece. So those just go gently along the top and the bottom. Just want to push them with your thumbs, give some good pressure to adhere it, to make that adhesive stick to the paper. And then we have the word hello. So same, you could pop this up if you like with dimensionals. I think I will tonight just so we can compare the two. When you're working with dimensionals that are this larger size, that's kind of big to put on the back of these words. So what I can do is just trim from the edge of my sheet. Now I did not include dimensionals in your kit this month. So they're a more costly item. I can put them in every once in a while for you. So that's something when you have it, add it to that shoebox, magic box, so that you have those to pull out. But what I've done is just cut some of the, try to get it in the better shadow here. When you have just the pieces left over at the edge, I can slice them up and that way they're half the width of the traditional ones and I can pop them up. And this is really just an extra. On my original card, I did not pop up the letters, but I wanted to see how that might look in contrast. Makes it a little more delicate. to handle. Like when you put it in your envelope, you want to be sure you're not doing it too abruptly because it could snag. But what will be fun about that is it'll create a shadow. It'll be sticking off of the page, and so it will have a bit of shadow. Here's the two to compare. I think you can see the shadow actually pretty well with the camera. This is just flat glue, and this is where we've popped it up.
Yeah, that makes a big difference on the camera.
Yeah, I love dimensional. Like I said, almost all of my projects, I use that pop-up adhesive. And so it felt strange when I made my bookmark to not do that. But again, I wanted that to be something flat to use with our book reading. Okay, now I'm on this one, I popped up this layer with dimensionals. So this card's I'm gonna make it flat on the bottom instead of, I'm doing the opposite. So I'm using the flat glue for the main piece and the dimensionals for the hello, just so we can see that there's always more than one way to combine the elements. It's always fun for me to hear from you how you use your supplies, because you might see this hello and think, oh, that's perfect to put on a gift package or a special tag that you're making. So you can always use the supplies the way you like. You don't have to put them together the same way I designed them. Now this copper twine, I tried to smooth it out a little bit for you. Sometimes twine like this gets those little angles in it where it's been wrapped. And so you might just want to, between your fingers, just pull it a few times. That can help it relax any of those wrinkles. And then we can take it, and it's going to wrap right inside the card, come around and tie a bow. Now it's a generous amount, so you should be able to tie the bow just like you're tying your shoes. I'm gonna make my first knot. It helps if you pull the strings perpendicular, so north and south here, and then make the loops. That can help you hold a little bit. Or if you have a neighbor that's nearby, they can put their finger there to hold it. But usually I craft solo when I'm virtual, so I'm going to do my best to make that a little bit tighter like that. Then I can trim these pieces, and they do fray. It's kind of, like I said, reminds me of the electrical wire, when you have that coated wire and you have to spray out the little pieces. Have you ever replaced a light fixture in your house, like in the wall? We
Yep.
had to do that one time, and it was very satisfying. I felt very accomplished doing my YouTube research and switching out the piece. Now the little sequins tonight, I've added to a strip of glue dots. So they're just like little stickers now. You'll peel them off and then put them where you like on your card. So there are 5. I think everybody has 5. Usually I work in 3s or 5s. And you're going to dance the sequins around the card.
Gee, that's odd.
You're full of them tonight. That's fantastic. So we've got our hello with some fun, sparkly sequins, some copper shine there too. And I think that's a really pretty card. So here to compare again, you can see this top one, the striped element, the whole element is popped up. So where the shadow is that big piece. On the bottom one, I have the hello popped up, and this element is flat to the card. So again, there's not a right or wrong. It's just sort of fun to see the variations. This coral color is one of my most favorites. I really enjoy the warmth of this color. I think it can be holiday. It's reading a little bit red on the camera tonight. It's a little more orange in real life, but it's a color I really enjoy working with.
It's kind of a salmon.
Yes, indeed. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and then we're going to move into our twist and pop project. So in your kit, there's a packet that looks like this. It's a brown little paper bag, and it has a lot of cards that are kind of like this, little 3x4 cards. has a couple sticker sheets, and some of the larger cards. And we're going to need those in just a moment, but I want to first walk you through what this next paper engineering project is. It's a little more complicated than I've shared at the library before, but I know you're all up for the challenge because I've heard that people really enjoy the mechanisms, the cards that have movable parts or engaging elements. So in your kit, along with the card parts, are 3 pieces of, we call this color crumb cake or craft. And there are 3 pieces, and they're all prepped for you. There's cut, scored, and I've added the adhesive. But because of this video being something that I want to keep for the ages, right? It's in our library. I want to show you how I prepped these pieces. So if you were to come back and watch this video next month or next year, you could, using your own paper, you could create the pieces. So that's where I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer. Remember, if you're watching this and you picked up your kit from the library, your pieces are all ready. Just enjoy a break a little bit while you watch me do this part. And then hopefully if you have any questions, I hope to be able to answer them while we're together. So the first piece we'll do is the base of the card. And this is, it measures 4 1/4 by 11. And we're going to score it at 5 1/2. So if you're at home just in watching this live with me, just know that that part's been done for you, but I'm going to model it so that we have a record of how to put this card together. So 4 1/4 by 11, score at 5 1/2. Now on my trimmer, I have 2 blades. I have a black blade, and this is the cutting blade. And then my gray blade is my scoring blade. So today I'm just going to be scoring with you. So I'm park the dark. I put it aside. I'm just going to work with the gray blade. So that's the first piece we have. That's the base. And we're going to set that aside. That's ready. And I'll go to the next piece. The next piece is this long, tall one. This is 11 inches by 3 3/4. And we'll score this at 2 3/4, 5 1/2, and 8 1/4. So score 2 3/4 using my gray blade, 5 1/2. And I realize now I have to kick out this little extra ruler side so that it's long enough to stretch it over to 8 1/4. There. Now this piece is what we're going to decorate for the inside of our twist and pop card. So it's got these score lines, kind of makes an M shape or a W, depending on where you're looking at it. But that center piece is the one that will be popped up. Okay, there's that one. And then the third piece that we're getting ready is the mechanism that's going to be inside our card. And this is the tricky part of the project. So I'm just going to explain the dimensions first and then how I put the adhesive on. So the rectangle base is 3 inches by 8 inches, scored at 1 1/2, which makes it in half this way, and then turn and scored at 4. So I'll do that for us. We're going to score at 1 1/2 and at 4, turn and score at 4. Whoops, I didn't park the dark, did I? That'll be okay because this is just my sample piece for you. Now we're going to make the diagonal pieces, this part. And to do that, I need to find my pencil here. Okay, I'm going to mark this 3 by 8 inch paper. Going to mark it at 5 1/2. And it's easier with my regular ruler. Let's see, there it is. Okay. So with my ruler, I'm going to mark it at 2 1/2 and 5 1/2. And I have to do that at the top and the bottom. 2 1/2, 5 1/2. Okay, so I've got marks here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now I'll use my scoring blade to connect them. So I was happy to do this for you at home. Anybody who picked up the kit, it's fun for me to do the math and the measuring to prepare But I did want to have the instructions here in case you're inspired to make another one. So all I'm doing is connecting my 2.5 inch to my 5.5 inch across to make a diagonal. And this is the trough where it's cutting. So I just line up the mark here and here.
And you're scoring rather than cutting.
Scoring rather than cutting. Thank you. Yes. Yes. I meant to park the dark here. So pretend this is not cut. Yeah, I'll bring in my other one so you can see what it looks like now. Because now we're going to add our adhesive. Okay. And so I like to use tear and tape, which is a nice strong adhesive for working with 3-dimensional projects. I know that it will hold well. And my adhesive is going to go at the top left and the bottom right, 2 little strips in each place. And on the other side, I have these where these diamonds are, where the triangles are. I have pieces of score and the tear and tape. Okay, so now we're ready for you to join me. If you're watching live at home with me, take those 3 pieces that we have and we're going to start manipulating them. Okay, so you have your tall piece. You have your, looks like an inchworm kind of. This is the pop-up piece, and we want to score this.
Folding them like you fold. Oh, I see. It's like a zigzag.
Yeah, it's like a zigzag. So the middle is you can fold the middle first and then fold up the ends. Is a good way to do it like that. So you're going to have it's kind of like an accordion now. Okay. And then this piece, we're going to score on all these lines. So we can start by, there's 2 diagonals to score or to crease, I mean, and then there's the center in both directions. Now you can use a bone folder or the back of a spoon or your thumbs and forefingers to just make nice creases. And you can do it in both directions. Just kind of for a minute, just fiddle with it, scoring it open and then the opposite way so that it's very flexible on those fold lines. Okay. And then quite magically, you'll see how it once if you've done a fair job of folding and moving and making it malleable, you'll see how simple it is to put it into the shape that we need. So what we'll do is you take your thumbs on the long lines and we're going to fold them in so that it makes the shape of a house now. And take your time. I'll help you if it seems awkward. But yep, perfect. So it's got the roof is going to have tape on both sides. And then down at the bottom of the house, there's just going to be tape over on the right on both sides. It's just going to be at the bottom, kind of like a little door. Okay. So we had it opened like this. We just put our thumbs where those long lines are and fold in to make the house shape. Okay. Great. So we'll set the house away just for a moment because now we need to do some planning with the decorations of the card. Your papers all match this fun dandelion suite. So if you wanted to make your pieces the same as mine in my sample, you can do that. But I encourage you to kind of fan them out and think, ooh, you're going to need 3 that are big. And then you'll need 4 or 5 that are small. Okay, so I'm going to show on camera just for a minute some of my my notes here. So if you're watching on replay, you could pause or do a screenshot. So this is the card base that is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. And then the note reminder is to adhere the decorative papers first before you do the rest of the construction. The layers are 4 by 5 1/4 inches. There's 2 for the inside and 1 for the cover. And then the optional is to add a 3 by 4 or a 2.5 by 3.5 at the bottom so you can write on it. This one I used that green dandelion one. The one I used at the bottom, I've kind of covered up. I used the yellow and white stripe, and then I covered it up with this other card. because I liked the framing of this card, so it gave me a chance to do some stamping or writing. What I want to show you now is that just how we'll trim the pieces to make these 4 go together. And so I'm going to pick 4 of my pieces. I'm going to trim them. They're going to be trimmed to 2.5 by 3.5. So let's pick a few here and make it 2.5 by 3.5. And you'll have those fun dandelion and bee pieces to work with here. Let's see. I love stripes. I think I'll pick stripes. There we are. And this is a pretty one. This one, because the pattern is centered, I'm going to trim a little bit on all sides to make it the 2.5 by 3.5 instead of from just one edge. So I'm taking 1/4 inch off each part. And I know that I've received feedback. I know a lot of people like it when the pieces are all cut for you, and I typically like to do that. But because these kits had so much choice, I wanted you to have the opportunity to use the trimming tools to do that. But I welcome your feedback. If you really much prefer that the pieces are ready to go, it certainly makes it an easier evening. And I do apologize for my confusion with the assembly. I know that it's going to surprise me how simple it is once I realize my error. So I don't want you to feel rushed. If you're watching this on recording, you can pause it and kind of puzzle out your pieces. I'm just going to take a minute to pick 2 other pieces so that I have a cover and then 2 inside pieces.
So when I went to cut my piece, I cut it a little bit crooked. Do you have any suggestions as to how to fix that?
I wouldn't worry too much because it's going to be hidden. Like the bottom of your cards are going to be underneath here.
I see.
So
Okay.
if you have one straight edge, then that's great. Do you have
Okay.
2? Does that make sense?
So make sure I put it on the inside so that it's that uneven part is at the bottom.
Right. And
Okay.
and uneven edges rarely offend me. Personally, I don't worry about it. And this is a learning project for you. So I hope just to have fun, putting it together, even if the papers aren't straight. But if you want to kind of hide it a little bit, I would make it so that gets into the fold. Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
All right. So let's see. I'm going to pick this floral one, and I know there's a pretty blue one. Yeah. Summer Splash. I'm going to use that. Okay. So I need to trim my pieces to 5.25. Now these pieces, they don't need to be centered. So I can just make one cut. I can go to 5.25 inches and slice it off. So I have just one little strip piece. And these are fun. You can save, your pieces to make other projects if you like. Put them in that shoebox, magic box of your supplies. So before we put our mechanism inside here, we need to put down our decorative pieces top and bottom. Okay. And I'm going to use the Tombow glue again. You can use whatever adhesive, but you don't want to use dimensionals here because this card already has a lot of lift and that would just make it extra fat. So I would advise you want a flat glue here. When I work with these cards, it's hard sometimes to put glue on a side and cover it up because I like so much the design on both sides, but they do come with 2 of each design in the package. So you could use both sides, or you could get a package and share with a friend, and your friend could have the designs and you as well. Hi friends, it's Missy again. Thanks for your patience tonight as we were assembling this cool twist and pop card on Zoom. I was overcomplicating things and I went back and figured out how a simple way to assemble the mechanism inside the card. So we've got 3 parts to our card. Remember, we have our card base, and we'll set that aside for a moment. We have the piece that will be decorated, pop out and be decorated with these 4 panels. And then we have the piece that we have added, scored and creased and added our adhesive to make this house pattern, right? So what we'll do is take our center piece with the decorations down, so the middle fold is down, and then we're going to take off the adhesive strips from the both sides, and when we put it onto the paper, we will we'll center so the score lines line up in the middle, this piece here, and that we have some space at the top and some space at the bottom. Once that's ready, just push down here, and then you'll adhere. There's going to be adhesive in this section and adhesive in this section. Then when we fold it together, we're going to end up with our houses, our house again at the top, and our panels attached. Okay, so before I had on our Zoom tonight, I had us put the house in here first and then try to add the bottom. It's much simpler to attach the mechanism to the panels first. Just fold those so you've got the adhesive showing and it looks like a house, and then it will go inside your card. Now you do need to remember to decorate the inside panels first before you adhere this, if you want to add any decorative papers inside. Let me pause and do that for you. Now I have my inside of my card decorated, because once I put the mechanism in here, we want to have some of those colorful panels showing behind. Now that I have these pieces attached, I simply need to remove the adhesive, and we're going to put the house inside here, but we're going to do it after we've already built the foundation for the house here, this piece first. So now we can line this up at the bottom of the card, and it's going to be right at the tip where the fold is here. So we know that we've got it lined up at the fold and lined up at the bottom, and then we can close, give a little pressure to help that adhesive stick, and now when we open, ta-da, it's ready to pop. So that was much simpler. Go ahead and adhere the 2 pieces, the inside pieces first, then put them into the card base, and it will work beautifully. Here's one showing some new product with the new in colors that I worked on tonight during our Zoom. And here's another one that uses some more product being released in May. These beautiful wildflower color papers, and we love them. So thanks again for your patience with learning a new trick tonight, learning the twist and pop mechanism card. Thank you so much, friends.
Yeah, I've got at least part of it. The part that we were pretty sure about is all set.
Yes, and it's just there's a trick that I'm forgetting about.
I think you just flip it over. So you put the one side on,
right,
and then you flip your card over and do the other side from the other side. So I put the one on. I think you just flip the card over.
Okay, so you took off adhesive on one part, flipped it over, and then it lined up in the.
Yes, and that worked for me.
Instead of trying to twist it in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're Kim, right? Kim, that's
Yes.
marvelous. Okay, terrific. So Kim figured it out. If we have adhesive here, I'm going to put some new tear and tape in my spots here. I was concerned that I had the tape on the wrong side, but that wasn't the case. It was just I was overcomplicating.
No, it's perfect.
Good. I was overcomplicating things. Okay, so I'm going to remove it from one. And get this here and put it down. And then you're right, I can flip it over.
And do the same thing.
And do the same thing on this side. Wonderful, Kim. Thank you. Okay, terrific. There, so it should just fold. And as long as that adhesive had the good grip, you kind of push it together, that's going to hold it well. Thank you, Kim. All right. So now I can add my little elements and be able to have a place to write or add your stickers, because in your kit you've got 2 pages of stickers that have words and little honeybees, and they're a lot of fun. There we go. Okay. So we'll have those 4 panels. You could use designer series paper. You could also use photographs and make a photograph, a little mini album for a special occasion. That would be a
that's
fun
good
way.
idea.
That'd be great. You could have the 4 focal pictures here. You could also put one at the top or at the bottom. And then I just have to add my piece to the front. So the front we've trimmed down already to make that the 4 by 5 1/4. These cards all come at 4 by 6 and 3 by 4. So they're a versatile size and easy to just trim down, so that you can add them to an album like this or a special card like this. I'm going to bring back the original one that uses the products that you have in your kit. I did go ahead and add a little thank you sticker here, just to keep it really simple on the cover, because to me, and I added a B as well, because it's kind of a surprise, right? You sort of think, oh, this is just a sweet, simple, simply elegant thank you card. But then ta-da, oh, nice, Julia. Nice. I love the words, right? Aren't they good?
Mhm.
That's the time. Is that the time spent? Yes. Time together is time well spent. I love it. And then when it opens up, that's where the real magic is. So that I kept the front pretty understated, but you could decorate this any way you like with the stickers and with the card elements. And then as it opens, I added some more of the stickers inside. And I used a greeting from a stamp set called Pansy Patch. This is retiring this month, and it has really sweet words in it. The words kind of the font reminds me of Mary Engelbright, some of her writing, or Holly Hobby has that kind of font a lot of times. The little things you do make such a big difference. I thought that was appropriate for this kind of card where it's sort of a little and then a surprise.
Okay, there.
Now you'll have some extra cards and stickers. And so also in your kit, you have a card base and an envelope that coordinate. So although we're not going to make those tonight with your pieces, I encourage you to layer or cut or fold the different elements that you have left from your stickers and your card parts, so that you can make another special project with that. And it's all designed to coordinate. This is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So it's designed just to take one of those cards and layer it right on top, if you like, for a really simple card, or to do other combinations. I know Julia found that pretty one that says time together is time well spent. That'd be a really nice, simple card as well. In the past, you've seen I've also made cards like these with a little pocket inside. And so I especially like this larger card base. It's a little bigger than our traditional card. You'll see how it's taller than a standard envelope size card. And so this often I will fold in part of the card to make and then you can glue it here to make a little pocket for a gift card or a tea bag. So you can modify your card base that way if you like, or keep it at the full size. So let me go and pull back in our projects from tonight so you can take a look and see them together. And forgive my fumbling. Thank you, Kim, for helping to simplify this. I'll go back and look too to see if there's any other tricks, but I think Kim solved the puzzle by first putting in one side, flip it over, and then removing the adhesive for that second side of the accordion. Ta-da!
Nice.
Great. Thanks for being with us tonight. Julia, thank you so much always for your enthusiasm and technology skills. and your friendship. I appreciate so very much. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of April. We'll see you in May. We'll be back with another Zoom and Facebook and YouTube experience, along with the in-person event on the Friday. So please check in with the library if you have any questions about registering for these events. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining in.
Hey,
Thank you.
Let me add you on there.
Bye-bye.
Now you can do the hard thing again.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate being with you tonight. Thank
Okay.
you.
Good
Bye,
night.
Julia.
Good night.